Coach, you got a little unwelcome Christmas present last year. Not to make light of the situation, there was some damage done. It was a scary time for all of us living in Mobile. But the tornadoes that hit the area in Midtown last December, you've talked a little bit about how that changed your ball club. Tell our listeners just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that what happened was a terrible thing for Midtown. But it also took a group of young men and coaches and a school, an entire school and a staff, and showed us that unity is probably the most important thing, that sometimes you get out of an element where you're comfortable and you're forced into an element where you might not be as comfortable, but you see people's attitude change for the better because they start focusing more on each other than their own personal gain and their own personal comfort. So with that, it has helped our team tremendously. We have seen young men step into leadership roles that are more interested in their teammates' comfort than their own comfort, more interested in their teammates' success than their own success. And it's shown in the weight room, it's shown over the summer program, and it's as bad as it was. We have found a positive in it.
It sounds like your team's really kind of rallying around adversity, not only the obvious from the tornadoes, but the fact that you didn't make the playoffs last year for the first time in many seasons. Has that been another driving force for a little extra work in the weight room and a little extra work on the practice field?
It was miserable for us not to be in the playoffs after being in so many years. But as we have said over and over again, you've got to be great every night. You can't just be great some nights. And there were football teams that we played last year that were better than us on Friday night, on that particular Friday night anyway. No, Murphy doesn't like not going to the playoffs, but other schools don't like it either. And we realized last year, whenever we stayed home and watched other teams play in our region, that they earned that right to be there. And yeah, we hope to get back there one day.
Coach, I don't think there is an easy region, if there's such a thing anywhere. There's certainly not one in coastal Alabama high school football.
No.
6A Region 1 would not be discussed
Right.
in that conversation
Right.
if there were such a thing. But I know you don't want to talk specifically about some of your competitors, but just talk about how that level of competition every Friday night just pushes all of you to excel.
Oh, yeah. The great players know the great players in this town. When we get ready to gear up to play any opponent on our schedule, our players know what's about to happen out there. They know who the playmakers are. They know who the biggest hitters are. They know who the guys that if we throw in their area, they're going to pick it if we're not on target with it. So with the media the way it is, and as much as high school sports has grown into that area now, we don't go into a Friday night game wondering what's going to happen. We go in pretty much knowing what's going to happen, and one mistake can be a difference. You put the ball on the ground and somebody's going to scoop it up and turn it into 6 points. It's not just the fact you fumbled. It can keep you from actually playing postseason play. So, yeah, and it's every week. It's 10 weeks that you get that, whether you're playing a region game or whether you're playing a non-region game. Our non-region games are just as tough as our region games, but it makes for a fun football season.
Coach, when we talk about high school football, it just naturally lends itself to talking about college football recruiting. Tell us about some of the players you have that are getting especially a lot of attention from teams on the next level.
Well, naturally, Taylor Stallworth is getting a lot of attention. When you're 6'3", 280 pounds, and you can run 5 flat, you're going to get that attention. And he's a great player, and he's not only a great player, he's a good person. Cameron May is getting a tremendous amount of attention. Everybody remember his brother, KJ. And Cameron had to walk in KJ's shadow for a couple of years, and now he's developed his own shadow. And, he's a tremendous offensive player. We feel like he's explosive. He'll play wherever you need him. If you want him at quarterback, he'll go take a snap. If you want him at receiver, he'll go catch it. If you want him to punt, he'll punt. He's a lot of fun to coach. Gary Moore is another defensive lineman that's 6'3", 278 pounds, and Gary was clocked at the Mississippi State camp this summer running a 4.72. That's almost 300 pounds running what running backs run, Gary is a fun player to coach. He has a lot of skills. He and Taylor absolutely have a ball at practice every day. Probably the thing that they have to fight to overcome at practice is they're so nice they don't want to hit our running backs. So we have to get on them a little bit about being physical, but they literally will just go up and won't hit them. They'll just pick them up and their feet's dangling in the air, and like plays over, blow the whistle, because they're not going to put them on the ground. They learn to take care of each other, and they're not out at practice for a big hit. But on Friday night, they'll look for that big hit.
And Coach, finally, can you explain to our listeners some of the changes in the video rules and how that may affect the week-to-week life of a head coach and in his football program?
Yeah, I think it is going to have an impact on high school sports. I think it's going to impact the ones who financially can afford this type of equipment, because you are talking about an expense that's going to be incurred when you start talking about computers on the sideline, cameras in and on the booth, iPads on the sideline. You know, so it's quite a bit of expense, and for teams like us, we will benefit from this, but we'll benefit several years down the road, because it takes time to get those kind of funds to have this kind of equipment. But we'll take what we have now and we'll make the best of it. I feel like teams that have access to that right now are going to definitely give themselves an advantage on the sideline. And that's what it's all about. You work hard to get an advantage. You work hard in the weight room to get an advantage. And if you have the funds to get an advantage based on a rule that's been implemented, then more power to you.
It's just a continuation of some of the arms race that you always hear about on the college level with
Sure.
facilities and infrastructure and things like that, that's trickling down to the high school level now.
It is, exactly. You know, the colleges with the best facilities are the ones who are going to recruit the best recruits, no doubt. And you know, I don't think it's a fair world. I'm not saying that it's unfair one way or the other. We all know going in that to have good, you got to get good. And you know, I look forward to it. I just, like I say, for us, it's just going to be, as time goes on, we'll have more money to invest, and we'll invest a little bit every year to get to that level.
Well, because of the history and tradition, of course, Murphy football is very important to a lot of people in this town, whether a rival or a fan or alumni of Murphy High School. So we really appreciate Coach Ron Lee sitting down and breaking down his 2013 Panther squad. Wish you the best of luck this fall, Coach.
Oh, thank y'all so much, and thank you for what you do for these young men, too.